Good morning, beloveds. It is December 16th. We're getting really near the end of this book. Okay. The peace and power of the conscious recognition of the divine presence is with me today. That is our title. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And that is from 2 Corinthians 3:17. My fifth name is all good things created by Mazda, the offsprings of the holy principle. And that is from the Zend Avesta. So the ZEND AVESTA. I have never heard of that. Now I want to look it up. All right. Let's see. We all desire to experience liberty and to know that the all-comprehensive mind and principle is in the very words we speak. The Zend Avesta tells us that all good things are created by Mazda. Parentheses, the principle of light, close parentheses. Here we have a concept of liberty, of light, of freedom accompanying our words, a divine authority imparting a creativeness to our thought. The creative power of spirit is in our word in such a degree as we become conscious of spirit. We know that words of love overcome thoughts of hate. We know that peace will heal confusion, and that a sense of power will overcome a belief in weakness. All our work should be built upon the supposition that good overcomes evil, not by combating it, but by transcending it. The non-combativeness of spirit is the principle back of the law of non-resistance that Jesus so plainly taught. The spirit has no opposite. It is always joyous, perfect, and free. There is no difference in the essence between our spirit and the Spirit. Our spirit is the Spirit of God in each of us, and the two are one. The peace and the power of the divine presence is with me today. Therefore, I walk calmly, knowing that I am enveloped in the divine presence. I am fully conscious that my word liberates every bondage, whether it is in myself or in others. I know that my word is the law of good automatically executing itself, irresistibly proclaiming itself, inevitably fulfilling itself. That was a mouthful. And if you heard the bird, that was not an actual bird. That was a cat toy, and that was a cat. Oh. She's taking it into the hallway. We'll see if she keeps playing with it. Nope. She's going to wander off. I love cats. Okay. That's Rita, that great big orange cat that you see a lot. That's Rita playing with that cat toy. Okay. So the peace and the power of a conscious recognition of the divine presence is with me today. So conscious recognition of the divine presence will bring peace and a sense of power. A sense of peace and a sense of power. And he makes an excellent point in here that I definitely want to make sure I highlight that point. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. I mean, yeah. It kind of makes me want to go back and look up the passage and see what was going on around that passage for that to be, that statement to be in there. And like I said, I've never heard of the Zend of Avesta. I definitely want to look that up because my fifth name is all good things created by Mazda, the offsprings of the holy principle. And if Mazda is the principle of light, which is what he says in the passage, All good things created by the light, the offsprings of the holy principle. Okay. We all desire to experience liberty and to know that the all-comprehensive mind and principle is in the very words we speak. Yeah. We all want to be free, and we all want to know that we are using the mind and the principle, and that that power of the mind and the principle is infusing our words. So the Zen Avesta tells us that all good things are created by Mazda, which, like I said, is in quotes. Behind that it says the principle of light. Here we have a concept of liberty, of light, and of freedom accompanying our words. A divine authority imparting a creativeness to our thoughts. So liberty, light, and freedom accompanying our words, and the divine authority is imparting creativeness. Basically, it is through the divine the divine authority, the divine mind that we use, where our that creativeness comes from. It doesn't have to come from us, it comes through us. And that's one of the things. It's like, if you think you're out of ideas, you might be out of ideas. But the cool thing is the mind is never out of ideas. So you have access to that mind. So if you think you're out of ideas, then you go somewhere and you get quiet and you listen. You open up to the divine ideas flowing in. That way it doesn't have to come from you. It can come through you. And if it comes through you, it's still yours. So if you think you're out of ideas, you're wrong. You're wrong. You have access to all of the ideas you possibly need. You just have to be willing to listen. The creative power of spirit is in our word in such a degree as we become conscious of the spirit. I mean, that's what we teach. I mean, honestly, that's what Science of Mind says. It's like, look, it's there. The more you are aware of it and the more you use it, the more of it there will be. So it behooves you to become more conscious and to practice and use it more often, and then it becomes your default setting. So it's like you always have those ideas flowing in because you recognize the source that they're coming from. That makes sense. I hope so. We know that words of love overcome thoughts of hate. Statement of fact. We know that peace will heal confusion. Statement of fact. And that a sense of power will overcome a belief in weakness. Yeah, okay, so a sense of power. If you ever weightlifted and the first time you pick that weight up and you're like, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, and then you do it, and then you're like, oh, I can do it. And then suddenly you realize you're stronger than you think you are. And then, you know, when there's just chaos around you and you go find that quiet moment, you take those 5 deep breaths, and then that sense of peace settles on you, and then you go back in and you deal with the chaos. I mean, from what I understand, that's what every mother does. That's what school teachers do. You know, that's what you have to do. You go out, you take 5 deep breaths, you center yourself, you find that peace, and you carry that peace back in, and suddenly the confusion makes more sense. Or at least you can deal with the confusion. And then only love can drive out hate. Only love can drive out hate. I'm paraphrasing Martin Luther King there, so. All our work should be built upon the supposition that good overcomes evil. And this is the point. All our work should be built upon the supposition that good overcomes evil. Good will always win. Not by combating it. Because we don't want to be drawn to the same level as evil. We don't want to fight evil. We simply want to rise above it. That's why we say don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution. So focus on the peace, focus on the love, focus on the harmony, do those actions. And that which is not, all of that will fade away. We have to meet the needs that are creating what we would call evil. We have to meet the needs of the fear and the lack and the all of that. We have to meet those needs. And once those needs are met and we meet them in love, with love, through love, because a lot of evil comes out of fear. And if we can meet fear with love, it'll go a long way. So not by combating it, not by coming down to its level and fighting, but by transcending it through actions of love. I think that's the most powerful sentence in that whole thing to me. But like I said, that's to me. The non-combativeness of spirit is the principle back of the law of non-resistance that Jesus so plainly taught. The spirit has no opposite. It is always joyous, perfect, and free. So that's what we want to emulate. That perfect, joyous, and free. Whole, happy, and free. It's what we want to emulate. It doesn't mean that we will always be that 100% of the time. We are human. We are spirit having a human experience. And we're going to get caught up in the mortal coil nonsense. It happens. And we just forgive ourselves and move on. There is no difference in the essence between our spirit and the spirit, capital S. Our spirit is the spirit of God in each of us. The two are one. It's like, yep, that spirit in you is part of a greater whole. It is the splinter of the divine that runs you. The peace and the power of the divine is with me today. Therefore, I walk calmly, knowing that I am enveloped in the divine presence. Yeah, walk out your door like that. Put your coat of the divine presence on and walk through the world. I am fully conscious that my word liberates every bondage, whether it be in myself or in others. And that's our job. Our job is to liberate all human, all living things. To liberate all living things. That was the mission of the Hebrews, is to sew up that divine to do good in the world, to close the split. And in the Kabbalah is the same thing. It's like the first vessel shattered, and it's our job to find the splinters and return the splinters. And that is to do good, to do love, to do caring and kindness and compassion. And that whatever act it is, we'll never know. It's a big act or a small act that will heal. So we do them more. We do them more because it creates a world that works for everyone. So we all have the same mission. We just use different language. I know that my word is the law of good, automatically executing itself, irresistibly proclaiming itself, inevitably fulfilling itself. Oh, so our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to walk calmly, knowing that we are centered in the divine presence. That we are the divine presence walking through the mortal world. We are a splinter of the divine presence walking through the mortal world, but we are truly the hands and feet and the ears and the eyes and the heart of spirit walking through this world. It's like if you want to see the hands of God, look at the end of your own arms. Those are truly the hands of God. What are you doing with them? Some days I can answer that, and some days I don't want to. But please do remember that you are a human being, not a human doing. Rest. It is very important to rest. You don't have to go out and do huge, massive things to save the world. All you have to do to save the world is be the best version of you that you can be. To do something loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself every day. Because that translates out into loving, kind, and compassionate acts in the world. So, that's why I say it every day. Do something loving, do something kind, do something compassionate for yourself every day. Because that's how we're going to save the world. If everybody starts being loving, kind, and compassionate to themselves, then they will be more loving, kind, and compassionate to each other. And that's it. That's how this works. So, that's my watchwords. Loving, kind, and compassionate. All right. LKC, huh? I'll have to make that into a cute little, I don't know. Kind, compassionate, I don't know. All right, I'm thinking. And I need to go and get ready for work. So, yes, please do something loving, kind, compassionate for yourself today. Look in the mirror and see the eyes of spirit looking back at you. It's a bit cold. You may not want to open your actual windows, but I do encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. I do encourage you to get some fresh air. Whatever that looks like to you, I do encourage you to open the windows of your soul and allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you live in heaven now. That you live in a state of grace with that spirit always. There is nothing that you can do to exit that state of grace with spirit. Mostly because you can't exit spirit. There is nothing outside of spirit. It is what we are made of. It is what we are, it's what we run on. It's what we use. It's what's all around us all the time. It is sacred. So, yep, that's it. It is Wednesday. If you haven't popped in on the Wednesday book study of The Living of Science of Mind, it's The Living of Science of Mind is a really good book, and the Monty and Shirley that do it are fantastic practitioners. I think you'll really enjoy it. Check your emails, creative, and or you can go if you're not getting emails, you can. I think you can subscribe to the emails at info@creativelife.org. That's the email. So, yeah. But Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. and I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I do encourage you to have a wonderful day, beloveds. All right?